Your cat has never hunted a single meal in its life. Every bite of food comes from a bowl. No danger, no chase, no real prey involved anywhere. So why does your cat still crouch behind the couch like it's stalking something? Why do their eyes lock onto a bird outside the window with total, unshakable focus? Here's the thing. That instinct never actually left. It's just been sitting there quietly, waiting for a chance to come out. Let's start with something you've probably seen 100 times, without ever really thinking about it. Your cat is sitting quietly somewhere in the room, and suddenly they vanish behind a piece of furniture. A few seconds later, they explode out, chasing nothing, pouncing on empty air, or attacking your ankle as you walk by. Most owners laugh this off as random cat weirdness. But it's not random at all. This is a full predatory sequence, just without any actual prey involved. Cats are built with a 4-part hunting instinct: stalk, chase, pounce, and finally, the kill bite. In the wild, this exact sequence plays out dozens of times a day, whether they actually catch something or not. Indoors, with no mice or birds around to chase, that sequence doesn't just disappear. Your cat simply finds a substitute. You become the moving target. Your foot becomes the mouse. That's not bad behavior at all. That's an ancient hunting system still running quietly in the background, with nowhere else left to go. You might be surprised how intense your cat gets. While watching birds through the window, they crouch low, their tail twitches rapidly, and sometimes they make a strange chattering sound with their jaw. That chatter isn't random either. Researchers believe this chattering may be linked to the same muscle movements used in the actual killing bite. Almost like the body is rehearsing an action it desperately wants to complete, but physically can't reach. Some researchers also believe it reflects a kind of frustration, the gap between seeing prey right there and not being able to get to it. Either way, that bird sitting on the other side of the glass is triggering a hunting response every bit as real and intense as anything their wild ancestors ever felt. Ever bought an expensive cat toy that got completely ignored after the first day? Meanwhile, your cat goes absolutely wild for a crumpled piece of paper or a stray bottle cap. It turns out the toy itself matters far less than how it actually moves. A toy that sits still or moves in the exact same pattern every single time stops feeling like real prey almost immediately. Real prey never moves in predictable loops. It freezes, it darts, it hides, it changes speed without warning. When a toy mimics that kind of unpredictable, erratic movement, it suddenly becomes far more interesting. Even if it's cheap, even if it's something you never intended as a toy at all. This is one of the clearest signs that your cat's brain isn't really looking for a toy in the way we think of one. It's looking for something that behaves like it's alive. If your cat suddenly sprints through the house at 3 in the morning, you're not imagining things. And you're definitely not alone. Cats are naturally crepuscular, which means their bodies are wired to be most active at dawn and dusk, the exact windows when their wild ancestors did most of their hunting. So guess what happens when that instinct has nowhere to go during the rest of the day? It builds up. All that unused hunting energy has to be released somehow. And for a lot of indoor cats, it comes out as sudden bursts of running, jumping, and chaos in the middle of the night. It's not attention-seeking, and it's not misbehavior. It's stored predatory energy finally finding an outlet, whether you're asleep or not. By the way, if this kind of thing fascinates you, this channel is built around exactly this. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Not every indoor cat acts like a tiny predator all day long. Some seem perfectly content curled up on the couch, showing almost zero interest in chasing anything at all. Does that mean the hunting instinct just quietly faded away in these cats? Not exactly. When natural hunting behavior has no outlet for a long stretch of time, some cats don't actually get more restless. They get less responsive instead. The drive doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet from lack of use. A little like a muscle that weakens without exercise. This is actually one of the more overlooked signs of an understimulated indoor cat. A cat who seems too calm, too disengaged. All the time isn't necessarily a relaxed, happy cat. Sometimes it's a cat whose instincts have simply stopped being triggered often enough to stay active. So if this instinct is always sitting there just under the surface, what can you actually do about it? The answer isn't more toys piled up in a basket somewhere. It's structured, prey-like play, done consistently. A few short sessions a day, 5 to 10 minutes each. Using a wand toy that moves unpredictably, mimics fleeing prey, and ends with your cat actually catching something, can make a real, noticeable difference. That final catch matters more than most people realize. Without it, the hunting sequence never actually completes, and the cat is left in a kind of ongoing, unresolved tension. Letting them catch the toy, feel it in their mouth, and carry it around afterward gives that entire instinct somewhere to finally land. Feeding puzzles and treat dispensing toys can help too, since they turn a boring bowl of food into something that has to be worked for. Much closer to how hunting actually functions out in the wild. Your cat may never see the outdoors. It may never catch a real mouse in its entire life. And it may spend every single day surrounded by soft blankets and regular meals delivered right on schedule. But underneath all of that comfort, the same instinct that shaped their wild ancestors thousands of years ago is still fully intact, still running, still waiting. It shows up in the pounce behind the couch. It shows up in the chatter at the window. It shows up in the sudden sprint across the house at 3 in the morning. Your indoor cat isn't just a pet lounging through its days. It's a hunter with nowhere left to hunt, still operating on instincts built for a completely different world. And once you start noticing it, you'll never look at just playing the same way again.